This week on the ZonaZoo Sports Report, a recap of men's basketball versus the Oregon schools.
A preview of basketball versus Arizona State.
And L-Dub, Lisa Lane, has all your ZonaZoo updates, including Arizona baseball and softball.
Hey there, Wildcat fans, and welcome to this week's episode of the ZonaZoo Sports Report. I'm alongside a man who needs no introduction, and Lord knows I've introduced you many a time on this show, Ben Gabriel.
That is very true, Maddie. We've been together a long time, and I do enjoy every time you say my name, not gonna lie. Valentine's Day was a couple days ago, but it's a month-long holiday here on this show, I'll tell you that much. Fans certainly showed their love for the Arizona basketball team this past week, though. There were some great crowds for those Oregon school games.
Oh my gosh, that is so true, Ben. But the atmosphere in McHale was a little different from game to game. But we will go into that in a little bit. We do have a good show for you, so let's just get to business. Oh,
I like when you're assertive, Maddie. Let's take a gander at those highlights from the basketball game against Oregon. It was a late 8:30 tip-off. Jordan Hill was there to take a look at the new big man on campus, and his name is Derek Williams, who went for 20 and 6 in this game, 20.6 rebounds, shot 8 of 10 from the field, including this easy dunk right there in the first half. The freshman came out to play. They scored 32 of Arizona's first 34 points in the second half on their way to a 70-57 victory.
Yeah, the Wildcats definitely needed that win, and the Ducks kept it pretty close for a little bit, but they just weren't able to hold on. However, the tone changed a few nights later as the Cats took on the Oregon State Beavers. Let's check out those highlights. Oregon State came into McHale near the bottom of the Pac-10, and the Wildcats were looking to avoid the season sweep by the Beavers. Nick Wise was an ice-cold 1 for 11 from the floor and finished with only 5 points. And that is saying something when Kirill Yasko had almost as many points as Wise, who is hoping to go to the NBA next year. Jamel Horn was the team's high scorer, recording a double-double and finishing with 15 points. Oregon State played a 1-3-1 zone all night, and while the Cats were easily able to dismantle Arizona State's zone, they just could not figure out Oregon State's. This led to a rough night shooting for the Wildcats, and Oregon State ended up getting the win 63-55. The Cats fell to 13-12 overall and 7-6 in the conference.
Yeah, Nick Wise did his best impression of Val Kilmer. He was the Iceman all night. It was a rough outing for the Cats in what Sean Miller called the rock-bottom feeling of his 23 years in college basketball. He said that in the post-game press conference. That's not good. So certainly a lot to think about for this young team, who will welcome their crosstown rivals, the Arizona State Sun Devils, on Sunday at 3:30. Now, Maddie, the Cats went into Wells Fargo Arena on a mission and stomped the Devils by 19 last time. Do you see that game going in a similar direction?
You know, Ben, I would love to see the Sun Devils take a beating like they did down at Wells Fargo Arena any day of the week, but I think it's going to be a much closer game than the one at Wells Fargo Arena last time. The Cats were able to easily penetrate the Sun Devils' zone defense last time, so you better believe the Sun Devils are going to have a game plan this time around. Arizona State is a hot shooting team from beyond the arc, and if Arizona shoots the way they did against Oregon State, an icy 4 for 23 from three-point range, Arizona State will take this game easily.
Yeah, absolutely, Maddie. I mean, with Arizona State, you know what the formula is. They play defense, they shoot a lot of threes. You know what you're going to get out of that team.
Absolutely.
And they're definitely going to need their team leader, Nick Wise, to step up. As you said, only 5 points in that Oregon State loss. Needs to find his stroke and at least create for other players, especially those young big men in Kirill and Derek Williams.
Oh.
So we'll take a look, and hopefully they can have a better day in the office as the Cats expect to pull the win out in Tucson.
That's right. Well, that's true. But the other thing the Wildcats have going for them, too, is the home court advantage. So let's hope that that will help them beat the junior college from the north when they come into town on Sunday. But right now, Lisa Lane has an important message for all ZonaZoo members.
Good evening, Wildcat fans. I'm Lisa Lane, and tonight I have your baseball and softball updates. Our softball team has a lot to be excited about as they currently hold a perfect record of 6 games and 6 wins. Their first game of the Kajikawa Classic kicked off February 12th against Western Michigan, where they won 13-0. Arizona was hitting hard against Western Michigan as they were able to score 7 runs in the first inning alone. That same day, they took on Purdue, where they were able to take the win with a score of 10-0. That win had to do with our standout juniors, Stacy Chambers and Brittany Lestraps, who combined for 6 RBIs. The women also went on to pull off an impressive comeback win over nationally ranked Northwestern 4-3. Their other wins were over North Dakota State 6-0, Nevada 10-5, and Cal State Fullerton 8-1. They only have 3 more games left in the Kajikawa Classic against Missouri. The games will take place at home Saturday and Sunday, so make sure to get out and show some team support. The Tigers will be a tough matchup for our Wildcats, as they did reach the Women's College World Series last season. However, for now, the Cats go into the weekend matchup ranked number 2 in the polls. Now it's time to talk about baseball, as the season opener is less than a week away. The Wildcats will open their 2010 season this Friday the 19th against Utah Valley. Our baseball team will play a total of 41 home games, all of which are free to attend for you ZonaZoo Pass members. Our baseball program has won 3 national championships, and their first win of this season will mark the 2,500th win of all time. Only 6 schools have won more all-time games. If you would like to hear what head coach Andy Lopez has to say about this year's team, check out the baseball page on ArizonaWildcats.com. Lastly, for all you men's basketball fans, this Sunday at 1:30 p.m. before the big game versus ASU, the fan favorite David Baga will be at the McHale Memorial Center for a book signing. Baga recently wrote his very own book titled The Walk-On, which gives us an inside look into his experience playing Division I basketball. So make sure to stop by and show him some ZonaZoo love. Well, Wildcats, that is all the time I have this evening. I'm Lisa Lane. Back to you, Ben and Maddie.
Thanks so much for that update, Lisa. Now, Wildcat fans, we have the picture of the week. The picture of the week this week is of the Arizona women's softball team. They are now currently 6-0 and number 2 in the polls, as Lisa mentioned, which is their highest ranking since 2008.
Great job for those Lady Cats in that tournament. All right, that's going to do it for us here on this week's edition of the ZonaZoo Sports Report. Be sure to go support Arizona baseball on Friday for their season opener. And also stay tuned for highlights and analysis from that ASU game on next week's show. And as always, bear down, Arizona.